Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I am Kevin Kietzman on another gloomy, wet day. I must be getting used to it because I got a bounce in my step today. Feeling pretty good, which I normally do not on gray, nasty days, but this is 4 in a row, so I think this is it. This is what we are. It's spring. It's going to be beautiful when all this rain soaks in and everything starts budding. It's about to be gorgeous in Kansas City, a wonderful time of the year just around the corner. And we got a wonderful show for you today here on KCMO Talk Radio, leading you up to the Vince Show, coming your way at 11. Including at the bottom of the hour, we're going to talk about this event that's taking place in front of the House Committee today, the House Oversight Committee on the Minnesota fraud. Yes, Governor Walz is there. Yes, the AG, Keith Ellison, is there. Yes, this is sort of an unprecedented deal because the Democrats asking questions don't want to talk about the actual topic. You won't believe who they brought in on their own, the Democrats, to this hearing, not Walz, not Ellison, to ask questions of today and how it's related to Pastor Adam Hamilton in Kansas City and his Senate run. You have to hear this. It's incredible. We'll do that coming up in about 30 minutes. Also, we got breaking news in the last 10 minutes. I just got an email or saw on social media from the Royals. For the first time in 15 years, they're going to have a not white guy as part of the broadcast team. I've been jokingly teasing the Royals in the era of woke. How in the world did they get away with having like 7 white guy broadcasters on their team? And that's it. And the explanation for a while was, well, that was the broadcast team there when they won the World Series. They kept them all. Nobody moved on. But they've expanded, and they added Mike Sweeney, and they brought people in, and as they've expanded, it's just been noticeable. It's like, wow. They have hired Bridget Howard, who is former Royal David Howard's daughter. She's a Blue Valley and K-State grad, and she'll be part of the broadcast team this year in some capacity. It looks like she's going to do some sideline and maybe some pregame things, so maybe a different or bigger role for Joel Goldberg this year. We'll see. I don't know what it all means, but we will find out. Bridget Howard's dad obviously played for the Royals, and her grandpa played 6 years in the big leagues. So she's been around Major League Baseball her entire career. Congratulations to Bridget Howard joining the Royals broadcast team. We start today with a remark. I like to use sports metaphors. You probably know that by now if you listen to Uncanceled. I like to apply sports metaphors to things going on in the real world because sports is not the real world. It's a fun world. I've enjoyed my career in the world of sports, but there are obviously bigger, more important things in the world than who wins and loses games. But an undefeated team is always a giant story. An undefeated team in college football, the Miami Dolphins team that won the Super Bowl undefeated. Anybody that goes undefeated, college football national champions have gone undefeated before. We look at an undefeated team as the actual GOAT, which is the acronym that is used too much for greatest of all time. If you're undefeated, you definitely are in the discussion of greatest of all time. We have the political GOAT, and it is confirmed right here in the Olathe School District in Kansas City that the official GOAT, the official undefeated GOAT of politics, is mail-in voting. Name me one. Somebody show me a mail-in ballot that Republicans won or anti-tax people won or whatever may be the case. It's like, no, you knew how this was going to end. There was no going to the poll and voting. There was no real election. There was nothing else to vote for. There was no chance that Olathe wasn't going to get their money. We joked about this. Mark and I, we joked about this a couple of weeks ago. We both filled out our ballots. I voted no. My wife voted no. I got 2 extra ballots at my house for my kids. I threw those in the trash because I don't want to go to jail. But when they mail all those out, I'm sure they went to Democrat households too, and Democrats would fill those out and send them in because they vote and mail in religiously and epically. The first thing you have to know about this vote is there must have been at least 3,000 to 4,000 votes baked in just by people who work in the school district and their family members. Maybe 5,000. They might have had just enough votes of people working at the district, union members, neighbors, parents, grandparents, siblings, or adult children that were all in. If you're a teacher It's possible in your circle of people that are really just close to you, it's possible you had 8 or 9 more votes just by asking your friends or whatever, hey, it's coming in the mail, fill it out, okay? Vote yes, we want the money. You weren't going to beat these people at this. This needs to be against the law. We're looking at the wrong thing. Complaining about the money, and I heard calls into Pete's show. Look, I know the drill here. I get it. Republicans don't want to vote in this. You got these things and said, well, hell, no way we're stopping this. I get it. When the Democrats talk about voter ID and say it's going to be a problem, it's going to disenfranchise voters, they know about disenfranchising voters. Mail-in balloting disenfranchises conservatives in the United States of America. When it comes in the mail and you get that ballot and you see it, you don't want to vote. You don't trust it. You don't want anybody else to touch your vote. You want to go do it in person, and you want it to be secret. And what they have done on the left in this country, everywhere, including Olathe, which is just the latest iteration of this, what they have done, once again, is proven Republicans will not vote in something that they don't think is private and secure. They won't touch it. They don't want any part of it. If they did, if they felt strongly about this thing, they'd still fill it out, vote no, drop it in the mail, and be completely and utterly unconvinced it's going to reach the Johnson County polling center election office. I know people that would go by and drop it in a box at the Johnson County election office and think it's going to get tossed out. Now, I'm not claiming fraud in Johnson County. I don't think that happened. I think this vote is totally legit. I think it's a complete and utter example of disenfranchised voters. And the kind of people that vote no to $400 million more in taxes are the ones that are disenfranchised. They toss it in the trash. My vote doesn't matter. They got me. It's mail-in only. Ain't no way we're winning this one. And you're right. They've done it. They've broken our will. We're pathetic, sad sack, I'll take care of myself kind of people. In a way, it's the best quality a person can have. Don't worry about me. I got my family, I got us. But in a way, that attitude leads to exactly this. The rest of them are out to get us. We can't defeat that thing. What's the point? I'm out. And I don't want my letter carrier handing my ballot. I don't want anybody at the post office sorting my ballot. I don't want the next U.S. postal driver to carry my ballot. I don't want the bag dropped off at the election office where 2 or 3 people see my ballot. I don't want any of that. Most conservatives don't. 63-37. You were never winning. This thing was ginned up from the beginning. They set this election up so it couldn't fail. Folks, we have to crack down on this nationally. I know we're talking a lot about the SAVE Act and the voter ID and in-person voting. We have to stop the mail-in voting. It's the easiest fraud in the world, and I've yet to see a news story where anybody's really been punished for this. We've caught people in the Kansas City area messing with drop boxes. We've seen it at libraries. We've seen the video of the security cameras. People messing with drop boxes, trying to get in and reach in them, taking ballots, doing this, dropping off. Individual citizens dropping off like 48 ballots into a drop box. We've got video of that in Kansas City. We've seen that. Does that mean it's fraud? No. Is that what an election should be? No. You shouldn't be able to just walk up and down the street in your neighborhood and cull 48 ballots from people who have them. Hey, did you get one of these? Let me know when you get one of these. I'll fill it out for you. And you go find old people and disabled people and people who don't care, quite frankly, and say, oh, well, you're my neighbor. You can vote for me. Fine, here you go. And they fill them out and they drop them in the box. It's totally fraudulent. They must laugh at us all over the world for some of the stupid stuff we do in our elections. We really are knuckleheads when it comes to this stuff. And the schools are $389 million richer today. Good for them. But you know what? We run around all the time just trying to make up for stupid stuff that's happening right before our eyes. The Kansas Senate yesterday is working on legislation that a school in the state of Kansas that gets money from the state of Kansas and the federal government will need to get parental permission for their student to walk out and basically demonstrate against the laws of the country and maybe lead to violence, which happened. In Olathe, it happened. They let the students walk out, do their little protest against their anti-American protests. Their We Hate America. That's what it is. There's laws on the books. and they're teaching the kids to hate the laws on the books. Go raise hell about the laws that we have in America because America sucks. That's the message. They go do it, then a fight happens. Then people get arrested. Oh, that's good. So the Senate in Kansas now, instead of doing, like, really the only thing they should have to be doing right now is lowering taxes, taking care of business, things like that. They're working on legislation that requires a school in Kansas to get parental permission for them to walk out. How is that not the case already? I got a good buddy, his kid's on a bowling team at Olathe School. You got to get parental permission to be on the bowling team. You don't have to have permission to leave school and go on the corner of the school and picket your anti-American signs and start fights with guys across the street. This is what we elected people to go do. Is we've got loopholes like this. And they're going to put fines on the schools if they do, equal to the superintendent's pay for each day that a walkout occurs. Well, they're not going to get this passed. Laura Kelly's not going to go with this. They're going to fight this in court. They're going to do everything they can. Oh, do you want your kid to play sports? You better get a physical and sign this waiver. You want them to go fight on a street corner? Come on out of school, kids. Let's go. Make your signs. Let's get out of here and go fight somebody. Unbelievable how we just play catch up on all these loopholes and things that they've put into place that we don't pay attention to because we have common sense. Who knew kids could just walk out of school? I've been told by the media for years these are fortresses. You can't get in. You got to show ID. You got to have an appointment. Somebody at that school has to know you're coming or they're not letting you in. If you want to leave, and I raised 3 kids in public schools. If you want to leave, you better call. You better get the permission. You better tell them you're doing it. You better pick up at that time, and you better go in and get them signed out to go to the orthodontist, for crying out loud, but not to stand on a street corner and start a fight. No, that's bigger than your straight teeth over there, little Kietzman kid. Unbelievable the stuff they pull on us. And this mail-in balloting's a total fraud, an absolute scam. Way to go, Olathe Schools. I can't even hardly tell people anymore with a straight face that my kids went to Olathe Schools. I can't hardly do it. 913-408-7957 is the number to call. If you'd like to join us, this is Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio.
Vince Colonnese here, and I'm coming up at 11 after Kevin Kietzman on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Hey, who wants to have lunch with yours truly? Let's go. Let's have some lunch. Next week on Wednesday and Thursday, I need some round ball rowdies, baby. We're going to watch some college basketball together in Lee's Summit at Conrad's Kitchen and Tap House. It's a great spot. John Anthony told me he knows the owners of this place. It's great, great, great scratch kitchen. All kinds of great beers on tap. The SEC and Big 12 basketball tournaments will be going on. And for a lot of people, going downtown isn't really an option or something you think about, or sometimes it's the weather. You never really know. And sometimes you can just break away for a couple hours at lunchtime and watch some hoops. So, for example, right now, KU is the 4 seed in the Big 12. If that holds, they will play at 11:30 on Thursday, and we'll be at Conrad's Kitchen and Tap House next week in downtown Lee Summit, 302 Southwest Main Street. Pete's commandeered this thing and has got some cool KCMO swag we're going to give away. It's a great place. They have live music every weekend, Friday and Saturday night, but we're going to turn it into a basketball watch party rowdiness. I'm going to broadcast from there, Uncanceled, before they open. They don't open until 11. So I'm on from 10 to 11, but then I'm going to stick around for a couple hours each day. Let's have some lunch, watch some hoops. The local teams are playing. We're going to watch those. It's going to be a lot of fun. We hope you'll join us at Conrad's Kitchen and Tap House, 302 Southwest Main Street in Lee Summit. That is downtown Lee Summit. If you go to our website, kcmotalkradio.com, we'd love you to RSVP. You don't have to. We just try to get a head count in advance. How many people may want to come? So if you can go to the website and click on that and RSVP and say, hey, me and a couple of buddies are coming, we just kind of want to know. We don't know how much stuff to bring to give away, all that good stuff. kcmotalkradio.com next Wednesday, 1 week from today, and 1 week from tomorrow. Back-to-back days, we'll be at Conrad's Kitchen and Tap House in downtown Lee Summit. Now, to take another step on how the elections, we're all disenfranchised. I mean, the left's running around, Trump cheats elections, they cheat. They always invent the stuff and claim Republicans are doing what they're actually doing. And the real proof came out last night in the state of Texas, where they had primaries, and Jazzy Jazz Crockett was running for re-election in her seat in the primary, and she lost, okay? So she's out. She's not going to make it. And they were really upset that this other dude was running against her for the Senate position. She's moving up from the House to the Senate and, whatever. So Tallarico, I think his name, 36-year-old slick-talking leftist who doesn't act as much like a leftist. But they're going through the process this election. It looks like she's going to get beat. She was originally claiming racism because she's black. Then when it ended last night, she made a comment when it was over. She said, quote, as long as they are cheating, we got to keep fighting the fight. And some people interpreted this as her talking about Republicans. But this was a Democrat primary. The Democrat Party of Texas did this and put this on. They actually did their normal trick. So last night, the Republican primary also happened. There's going to be a runoff in that one between Paxton and Cornyn. But for the Democrats, the polls didn't close at 7. They left them open for 2 more hours. What? The Democrats kept the polls open for 2 extra hours? And Jazzy Jazz lost? Oh, no. No, let me give you her quote again. As long as they are cheating, unquote, or was her exact quote, we got to keep fighting the good fight. She's talking about her own party, folks. Now, the best thing in the world would be if she just came clean and said, I've watched this in my party. I've watched it since we screwed over Bernie Sanders. I've watched them screw over every other candidate except Joe Biden. Then I watched them screw over Joe Biden for Kamala Harris. There has not been a fair election in the Democrat Party since 2008 when Barack Obama was primarying to become president. And I'm not so sure looking back, we'll look at that one as all completely on the up and up. But it appeared to be, at the time, there was a movement. People wanted Barack Obama in the party. It was exciting, and he won. But there really is no reason to believe that they didn't rig that for him at the time because he was just such a glowing young star, and they told us how articulate the stutterer is. But whatever. Jazzy Jazz said it out loud last night, and I love it. As long as they are cheating. She literally believes that the Democrat Party cheated her. I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue against her on that. She doesn't say a lot of things that I agree with, but I may agree with that. They definitely stacked it. That Stephen Colbert late show stunt was a joke. That was the media making like a huge star out of her opponent, national star, and making it look like everybody was out to get him. Oh, they're out to get him. They made him the victim. That always works with Democrat voters. Boy, if somebody's a victim, oh, yes. Look at this young guy. What's he ever done to anybody? He's 36 years old. Look at him. Look at this nice, normal dude. Oh, they did a number on her. They absolutely did a number on Jazzy Crockett. Pete Hegseth was amazing this morning in a speech that he gave. It was short. He said, an American submarine sunk an Iranian warship that thought it was safe in international waters. Instead, it was sunk by a torpedo. Quiet death. The first sinking of an enemy ship by a torpedo since World War II. Like in that war, back when we were still the War Department, we are fighting to win. The Iranian Navy rests at the bottom of the Persian Gulf. Quote, Hegseth. Combat ineffective, decimated, destroyed, defeated. Pick your adjective, Hegseth said. In fact, last night we sunk their prize ship, the Soleimani. Looks like POTUS got him twice. Their Navy, not a factor. Pick your adjective. It is no more. Also, Israel announced an F-35I shot down an Iranian fighter jet. It's the first F-35 to shoot down another aircraft. Nice. They got some cool ones there in Israel. They call them Adir. A-D-I-R, which means the mighty one. So we're on board with that, and it sounds like things are going well, and the chatter is getting louder in the United States against this, and everybody says the same thing. Let's do this for a couple, 3 weeks. Let's wrap it up. Let's find a way to move on and take care of it and get our troops out of harm's way. When we come back, there is a committee in D.C., an oversight committee in D.C. today investigating the fraud in Minneapolis. The governor and the AG getting the headlines. You won't believe who else was there with the Democrats today.
From Gladstone to Gardner, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Welcome back to the show. 1 week from today, we're going to be live at Conrad's in Lee Summit. We're looking forward to that quite a bit. As it stands right now, Mark, I've done the math. As it stands right now, Thursday, if the season were over right now today, Thursday, we would have a KU-MU doubleheader beginning at 11:30.
Oh, that's going to be incredible if it happens.
If it happens.
Yeah.
Now, there's one game left to play for each team, so these things are fluid, and we don't know who's playing when. But as it sits right now, our Thursday edition of, round ball rowdiness, whatever we want to call it, let's go have some fun. Next Thursday at Conrad's in Lee Summit would be a KU-MU doubleheader. If it ended just like it is today, we hope a lot of you will come see us in Lee Summit. Even if you're not from Lee Summit, drive from wherever. Come on out and watch some basketball with us at Conrad's Kitchen and Tap House 1 week from today, 302 Southwest Main Street in Lee's Summit.
I think I'm going to come hang out too.
Oh, that's awesome.
So my name's not on the billboard like you guys, but I'll be out there.
I'm pretty sure if KU is playing on Thursday, I could talk Miss Jessica into coming out.
Oh, that'd be fun.
It probably will require 2 cars. I don't think she'll go with me early to do the show. But she might. Her parents live near there, so the whole thing could line up perfectly. She could maybe spend the morning over there with her mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something like that. Come on over and watch the games. It should be fun. Checking out Conrad's in Lee. Conrad's with a K, because my initials are KK. So Conrad's with a K in Lee Summit, Kitchen and Tap House. Cool stuff. I caught my eye this morning, and one of the benefits that I have in following Pete is he's on for so long every day, 4 hours, and I used to have this too in the afternoons. When things happen live and they're not like the biggest thing, like if a war broke out or something, Pete's all over it, whatever. But when something is nuanced and maybe it's going to be a story down the road, and you maybe kind of know it's going to be a story, I get a chance to see some of that in the morning while he's on the air. And that was the case today with this House Oversight Committee investigating Minnesota, mostly Somali fraud. The headline here is Tim Walz, the governor of Minnesota, is being grilled. Jim Jordan just sliced him up. Keith Ellison just stands there with his mouth open like, He's the attorney general and doesn't really answer anything. And that will get the headlines. But then before they broke away from coverage, they introduced a lady who they were going to ask questions of. And she's a nice enough looking woman. I'm like, well, this she looks more professional than Ellison or Walz. I'm like, look at this lady. Okay. But the Democrats started asking her questions. And I didn't know who it was. They broke away from coverage. And so I just put my little Inspector Clouseau hat on and went all Columbo trying to figure out who she is and why she's there. The Democrats brought her in because it eats time. They can bring people in as well. So what the Democrats have decided to do with the House Oversight Committee investigating fraud in Minnesota is take all of their time, instead of asking questions about the fraud and trying to debunk Republican claims, which you normally see, right? Instead of that, there is no arguing it. It's such a one-sided thing. They're not even trying to make a case that Walz and Ellison were on the up and up. They know they're toast. They know they're in trouble. They're taking all their time bringing in people to badmouth ICE. And the brutality against the American people, or as this witness said, the federal occupation of Minnesota is what she said. Oh, I got to know about this lady. So I look it up. Her name is Mariah Tolgard. She was arrested January 23rd in Minneapolis in support for migrants. That's what she's been busy doing. I decide I'm going to look a little more. Oh, wait a second. She has a title. Her name is Reverend Mariah Tolgard, arrested January 23rd, support for migrants, with 100 other pastors at an event in Minneapolis. Reverend Mariah Tolgard is the head of Hamline Church in St. Paul, United Methodist. Pastor Adam, are you listening? Run, baby, run. Was he there? I don't know. He wasn't arrested. We would have known. So these leftist pastors were asked to leave. And in her own words on January 23rd, she said, we were going to leave, but we thought it would be a stronger case for solidarity against the federal occupation of Minnesota that all of us pastors get arrested. So she's the leader of the pastors, many of whom are United Methodist. And my emails are full. I've been talking about Pastor Adam for 3 days now on my podcast. I'm not going to do it here yet okay? But I'll build the case for you what's going on with this church. I've got listeners on my podcast that tell me that was once 10,000 more GOP voters in that church than Democrat. And now it's completely the opposite. That since he fell in love with Barack Obama, Pastor Adam has completely changed. He's running as an independent. I can't respect that in any way. He's not an independent. He's a liberal. He's a liberal Democrat. He needs to run as liberal. Nobody's announced that they're running. Maybe they're clearing the lane for him. Maybe the Democrats won't put anybody up and they'll just let him run as a fraudulent independent. Maybe they will. But know this. Most of the people I'm hearing from grew up in smaller towns, United Methodist Church, and they're still very conservative areas, conservative churches. They don't have pastors that are branching off from United Methodist, becoming their own church. Remember, his church is called Resurrection. You don't really hear much United Methodist anymore with Resurrection. And with Hamline Church in St. Paul, their logo on their website says Hamline pretty big. And then really small underneath it says United Methodist. They have one service a week at 10 a.m. My Google search, I don't know how accurate it is, whatever, and I've seen photos, says they have an average of 144 people a week that come listen to her preach. Their charity on their website, instantly it hits you in the face like a sledgehammer, is the Neighbors in Need Fund. Well, that's a nice thing. We got people in St. Paul. You know, St. Paul, this is a big city. St. Paul's almost as big as Minneapolis. We're not talking about the burbs here. We're talking about St. Paul. Minneapolis, St. Paul, big city. Wonder if they're affiliated with Black Lives Matter. No, not so much. The Neighbors in Need Fund is specifically for immigrant and refugee families so that they have places to live, food to eat, and can feel safe in our community. A church of 144 people and a pastor named Reverend Mariah Tolgard, who got arrested over the federal occupation of Minnesota with 99 other pastors against ICE and All Things America, is in front of a House Oversight Committee today, filibustering so Tim Walz doesn't have to answer as many questions and Keith Ellison doesn't have to answer as many questions. Boy, they got some racket going, don't they? They bring in a reverend from United Methodist Church, one of their own. I think they're commandeering the church, personally. I think when you look in the cities at most of these United Methodist churches, they're the Democrat Party, one and the same. And I think Reverend Hamilton is that guy. And I think their church has become that. And if you go to that church, I know I'm making enemies talking about this stuff. I said on Monday on the show, I pick sides. When somebody has done something to me, I pick sides. I accept everyone until the hand is played. When you go get arrested because of the laws of our land and ICE doing its job, this Reverend Mariah Tolgard, she's turned on me. She's not, I can't. I can't like her. I can't respect that. You're a pastor and you're leading to things that in your city you know become violent. 2 people have died. That's not a pastor's work. Is your calling your congregation and your Lord and Savior? Or is your calling the Democrat Party? It's time for these pastors to decide. This is a different thing. Look, I know there's plenty of religious people on the right. And I know they become friends of presidents and they do services and all these things. But going out in Minneapolis and trying to stop the laws that your party, by the way, voted for and enacted bipartisan ways with Republicans, and watching people get hurt and seeing it become violent and 2 people dying is really bad. And getting in the face of an ICE agent trying to do their job, they're probably Christian too. They might be in a United Methodist Church somewhere, and they might have a wife and kids to go home to. And interfering with them doing their job is not very Christian the way I see it. It just isn't. It stinks to the high heaven. I'd be willing to bet that Pastor Adam knows Maria Tolgard. I'm going to be willing to bet that Pastor Adam, when I start looking into this a little bit more, is friends with her and is proud of the work that she's done in Minnesota. And I think it should be asked. I think that's one of the very first questions Adam Hamilton should be asked. Were you with those 100 pastors, or would you be with them next time? Would you willingly go demonstrate against ICE with them? Are you with the other United Methodist pastors that have branched off, or are you not? The easiest campaign thing for Roger Marshall and anybody in Kansas running against Pastor Adam is going to pry a wedge between his politics and his church because they don't line up. They can't line up. How do you run as an independent if you say you support the people going down there and interfering with ICE doing their job? Can't be done. There's going to be no place to hide for this guy. Now, listen, that's me and you. We're into politics. We follow this stuff. I got us. You got you. We're good. The rest of the state of Kansas, people out in Cawker City where the biggest ball of twine in America sits, 348 residents and a nice tiny little United Methodist Church. There's probably a whole bunch of ladies out there that think Trump is rude, and they voted for Roger Marshall. And they're, wait, we've got a United Methodist pastor running? I'll vote for him. He's an independent. Oh, it's a plan. It's a really good plan. But we need to let people know exactly who and what Pastor Adam is and what Reverend Mariah Tolgard is. This is I can't believe this woman is in front of the House Oversight Committee eating up time that is designed to investigate Tim Walz and Keith Ellison for the billions of dollars of fraud in Minnesota. It's astounding to me that these things take place, and yet the Democrats can call whoever they want, and they called Mariah. Here is Joe in Overland Park on Uncanceled. Welcome to the show, Joe. How are you today?
Pretty good, Kevin. How are you?
Fine, sir. Thank you.
Good. Hey, first of all, I want to say how sorry I am to hear that what Pastor Adam did to you in terms of backing you into a corner and suggesting that you had to do work for the church and support him in that fashion. Although I'll say I'm not surprised by that. My wife and I attended that church for just a little while, and I got to be honest with you. I always thought the man was a phony, and I'll probably get a lot of hatred about that, but I always thought he was a bit of a phony. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but I don't know. I just was stunned when you told that story, and I'm sorry that happened to you. But I have nothing to do with that church anymore.
Well, I appreciate the call, and thanks. I shared the story on the podcast, so I'm assuming that's where you heard it. So that was a long time ago, and I was in no position at all at age 26 or 27 at the time to spend all my time supporting the church. It would have been a really poor decision for my family. And I've said this many times, and you can take this as a compliment or an insult, whatever it may be. He's the greatest salesman I've ever met. He is the greatest salesman, and I've worked with a lot of great salespeople because essentially in media, I've been around salespeople my whole life. But here's a bridge almost every salesperson I've ever met and worked with will not cross, okay? They will not guilt you into buying something.
Yeah,
and
you had a lot to lose, too.
I respected this man. I'll tell you another story. I met one football coach through the years that had the same quality with his players to get his players to play for him. It wasn't the in-your-face, scream at you. It wasn't that. And you know what? I think Bill Snyder might have had a little of this in him, too. His name was Dennis Franchione. He coached at Pittsburgh State. He went on to be the head coach at Alabama. And he had this way about him with his players, his staff, whatever, that he guilted them into doing more than they were going to do. And, boy, it's a terrible feeling when somebody's making you feel bad about yourself because you're not doing more. To me, it's such a sad quality that somebody's forcing upon me that I step back and I take time and I go, okay, that's not right. I can't let this emotion rule my decision. And Pastor Adam is really good at that. And he told Pete yesterday in the interview when he was on, he said, I'm not worried about money. He said, I'm a great salesman. I'm not worried about money at all. He's got all the money he needs for this campaign.
He's all about money.
He's all about money.
That's the other thing that turned us off from the church.
Yep.
It was all about how can we get bigger and how can we get more money. So anyway, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much for the call, Joe. I appreciate that. I cannot tell you how many emails I've received from talking about this on my podcast and sharing my story. I'll do it maybe sometime next week or whatever here. I don't want to repeat it. It's on the podcast. It's Monday's podcast. If you go to kkhasissues.com, if you want to hear the comments, you can go there. kkhasissues.com is an easy way to play it, or anywhere you get podcasts. But I don't want to just, I think there's a really, 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 really fine human being there. I know that Pastor Adam is a good man with good intentions, and we can all get misguided at times or blinded by My church has to be the biggest and the best, and I need this much money, and I've got to build this giant tower and all this stained glass, and it has to be this big. Trump's like that. Okay, Trump's like that. He wants to build his biggest, beautiful thing ever. There's a lot of people like that. That's not the part that gets me about him. I appreciate his motivations that I want my church to grow. I want more people in it. I want to spread the word. But it doesn't sound like the last 15 years or so it's been as much about the church as it's been about politics in America and things that need to. He likes to say our church needs to update itself to the real world today. Well, that's his real world. My real world is still decades ago. I'm good with it. I'm good with the way it was. Not everything. I'm certainly good with our laws, law and order. I'm good with the fact that you can't go interfere with law officers doing their job. I'm cool with that. I'm love the laws that are on the books that say our borders are closed. We're going to enforce those laws. All those things are important. And they seem to be disregarded here from a man now who's saying he's running as an independent. Honestly, let's just be cut to the chase. There is no such thing. Uncanceled continues on KCMO.
From Leawood to Liberty, it's Kevin Kietzman, Uncanceled, on 95.7 FM KCMO Talk Radio.
Mark Van Sickle joins us now. Mark, rough night for the Kansas Jayhawks last night. Are they hard to like this year?
I don't think they're hard to like. I think they're just a confused bunch. I don't know what to make of that team that misses so many layups. Like, I can't even be mad at Bill Self for exiting the game like he did. It's just so bad.
I find them very non-KU-like. And I think their ceiling's higher than the last 2 years. They're better than the last 2 years, but they don't look like a KU team. I mean, Bill Self getting kicked out, then Jacques Vaughn got a tee, then Elmarco Jackson got a flagrant one. And you're doing the same thing my wife did. She laughed it off too. But if KU played against another team that happened to, you'd just be calling them punks and thugs and everything else.
Yeah, that's true.
It was an ugly look for Kansas basketball. They're not like that. They're better than that.
It was a ref show too, I will say.
Agreed. Doug Sermons, the official, likes to make the game about him. But Bill Self also didn't retreat out. He left the box, got the tee, left the coaching box, and then he didn't go back in a timely fashion. He just stayed out there and kept chirping. They gave him another one, and out the game he went. He's like, yeah, I know why he did it, but the whole Darren Peterson thing, I just think they're hard to like this year. There's something really good there, but it doesn't show through enough. They've lost 3 of their last 4, all by double digits. They're 2-4 in their last 6, and they're moving up the standings. I think they got a chance to be the 3 seed in the Big 12.
It is just really crazy because Darren Peterson's played, I think, in 5 straight games where he's played the whole game, but they aren't winning the games like everybody thought they should.
They're losing and climbing the standings. I cannot figure it out. The World Baseball Classic is about to start. This begins for the Team USA on Friday night against Brazil. It's on Fox. Saturday night, they'll play Great Britain. Monday, they play Mexico. It's a pod of 4 teams. One will come out, and then they go to like the semifinals or quarterfinals at that point. Team USA is ranked number 1 coming in. Is that correct?
They're actually number 2 behind Japan.
Japan has won. They won the last time 3 years ago. Shohei Ohtani struck out Mike Trout to end that thing.
Yeah, that was pretty classic.
Bobby Witt leads off for Team USA. Bryce Harper, Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber, Bergman, and then your guy, Cal Raleigh.
Oh, yeah, big dumper, baby.
Batting 6th. That's the lineup in the practice game yesterday. That is, well, that's quite a team they've got.
Solid lineup.
Get on FanDuel. I think you can bet on like Bobby Witt, total bases, and everything else in this. This is real competition.
Yeah, I believe so.
That's going to be fun. And one vote happened yesterday that did not make our discussion here. And it was in the state of Texas. And it was a Republican primary for a congressional seat. And the name of the winner, you're going to know this name right away, is Mark Teixeira. You remember Mark Teixeira?
Mm-hmm.
Great baseball player. Yankees, Rangers, several teams. Hall of Fame player?
I think so.
Possible. Is he already in, or he's got to be borderline if not?
Mm-hmm.
Mark Teixeira won the seat, which is a very conservative district. He knew, if he just won that, he's going to win. Mark Teixeira is going to be a congressman. You know the best part of this, don't you? The congressional softball game.
Oh, yeah.
It's over.
He's going to dominate.
Oh, my gosh. Look out. You want a slam dunk guaranteed win over the Democrats? Mark Teixeira is going to back cleanup for the Republicans.
Goodbye, Sharice David.
Love that one. Let's go. The Vince Show's coming up next. Thanks for listening to Uncanceled on KCMO.